is 3 a.m. on a breezy summer night. In a small apartment lies a man whose heart belongs to another 1,000 miles away. He sleeps with the intention of waking soon for work, despite the bones in his body being exhausted enough to sleep for eternity. There is a family of 4 that rents him the couch in the apartment, which his minimum wage job allows him to cover. There is a couple and their 2 infant and toddler boys. The couple leaves in the middle of the night to whisk their stresses away and dance and liquor until dawn. Unfortunately, this leaves the poor creatures unattended all night, despite being put to sleep by their parents. If you know anything about kids, you will know that put to sleep does not mean sleep throughout the night. Soon, the kids will wake up, cry, and beg for their parents. At this time, the exhausted man sleeping on the couch also wakes up from his abridged slumber. If the sound of the wailing children was not enough to fully wake him up, it was the smell of 2 full diapers. Realizing that there is no one else to do it, the man, a complete stranger to these kids, cleans, carries, feeds, and sings to them all night. Something deep inside the man takes pity on the temporarily orphaned children who have no one to depend on besides him, a stranger. On the following day of work, he arrives with heavier bags around his eyes, but his soul is light. Later that day, the man will call the one who his heart belongs to tell her about his pity and action toward the children. They have no one, he will say. I will step in for now because who else will do it? In a completely different country lies a girl in a foreign city away from the comfort of her parents' farm. Even though she lives with 5 of her 8 siblings, she is alone. She is alone when she walks to work every day, cleaning houses and being an assistant to a doctor. Her parents' hands do not reach there. As she walks back home from work, she stops by the market where she can afford a small cube of cheese and a kilogram of flour for tortillas. When she gets home, she quickly gets started on dinner for her siblings, ignoring the exhaustion in her bones and the pain in her veins. She works diligently until the smell of fresh, hot tortillas fills the tiny apartment with a scent that can only be described as a safe and warm home. Dinner will be the same as yesterday, a flour tortilla with salt for flavor and a minute piece of cheese for the family of 6. Surprisingly, never having a full belly has never been a misfortune for these 6. They are just happy that they are together, and the girl is just happy that she can provide for her family. That brings her more satisfaction than having a full belly. She is not even the eldest of her siblings, but she understands that her family relies on her. If she does not make dinner, then how will her brother control his headaches of hunger to work? If she does not make dinner, then how will they pay their rent, which is where the majority of their paycheck goes? She thinks, if I do not do it, then who else will? Now, as I look out into the crowd and the class of 2023, I see stories that are being written as I speak. The class of 2023 is closing out a chapter in their story, but before you all do, let me take this time to honor some of those stories. We have overcome many things: losing a sister, losing a best friend since childbirth, rest in peace, Misty, being a caregiver to a sibling put on bed rest, and more. However, we have also had moments where we were able to enjoy what life, our story, has to offer. Holding your baby sister for the first time during your sophomore year of high school, winning your last soccer game, passing a Mrs. Jones anatomy and physiology test, going TikTok viral, well, at least in your imagination, performing for the first time in band, piano, dance, the Western Heights acting troupe, and or choir, and of course, getting to graduate today. Moving forward, you're all probably asking yourselves why I told the first 2 stories. Those 2 stories are a representation of what I hope to give you, the class of 2023, as a parting gift of wisdom. Be the person who looks beyond your own story to recognize and positively impact the stories of others. In other words, live a life where you can give more than receive and serve more than be served. Trust me when I tell you that success is found in making the lives of others easier today so so that your life can be easier tomorrow. However, remember to serve with good intentions because you will harvest what you sow. If you're wondering why should we care, then remember the future generations that are impacted by your choices today. Your words have the power to give life and death to others and yourself, a double-edged sword. I challenge you to give life. If you do not do it, who else will? Do not wait 20 years to start. Use your youth to your advantage. It is fleeting. Have urgency, because if you do not, then who else will? If you do not step up to take advantage of your education, then who else will? If you do not stop the corruption that has gone from generation to eventually your generation, then who else will? Lastly, if you do not rise from the ashes of poverty, violence, and injustice, like the phoenix that you are supposed to be, then who else will? Do you understand why I ask you, the class of 2023, to be urgent? The stories of the man and the girl I told display an urgency to be the person who says, I will, to the question, who else will? These two will eventually come together to bring you the girl who is giving you the speech today. And so, I want to thank my parents, my ama y apa, who have given me the opportunity to understand the deep satisfaction of serving others. I want to thank my padrino and madrina, or Tia Vero y Tio Rico, for genuinely supporting me since day negative 280. Thank you to Tia Alita and Tio Marcos for strengthening my wisdom of the Bible. Speaking of aunts and uncles, I would like to thank Dr. Jones and Mrs. Jones, who have been like my school aunt and uncle these past 4 years. 6 years with Mrs. Jones. See, Jones, I mentioned you before my brother. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Sammy, for igniting something in me that I did not even know I possessed. And for that, I owe you the last goodnight kiss from Mom. Thank you to my cousins and extended family members for getting boba after this, Maya, Sophie, and Mila. Moving on, thank you to the educators these past 14 years who have given me the opportunity to listen and learn from you. I am deeply honored. In light of that, Ms. Wood, you are like a grandmother to me, who I've come to respect and cherish. Thank you for seeing whatever you saw in me and putting in your 110% always. Gracias a mi abuela Tita, que entiende lo que estoy diciendo ahorita. Tu dicho es que es mejor sola que mal acompañada, pero yo siempre quiero estar acompañada de ti. Thank you to the underclassmen and the generations to come. You inspire me to be better. Thank you to the people whose stories have impacted me and to the stories of people I have yet to know. Finally, I want to honor and thank God who has allowed all of this to happen. Class of 2023, congratulations, we have done it. Even though we all have unique stories, we are all part of the Western Heights story. You are the ones who hold the pen to your story, so be urgent by being different. From deep within my soul, Lindsay wishes you well in your future. Now, go slay the sky as a proud jet. Thank you.